If you watch Ibxtoycat, then you might know about the series called the Ultimate Guide series, where we actually go through features that you might have either forgotten about or just never knew about. Considering how big Minecraft is getting these days, it's pretty handy to have a series like this. And I'm actually one of those people that actually help build up these guide worlds, and I figured today, I'd take you through how I actually go through making one of these guide worlds. And who knows, maybe I'll do it more in the future, but today, this guide is actually focused on all the variants inside of Minecraft. Whether it be like armor trims, banner patterns, tropical fish, many other different types of things like that. And I think instead of my normal guide building style, where I have like just pretty much paths going from one direction to the other, I kind of want to make a laboratory. I have no idea why I want to make a laboratory, but I just want to make a laboratory. And the fill command is seriously gonna help out, and oh man, I forgot one big thing. I don't need a big old diorite block. I need a hollow polished diorite block, and there we go. All sorted, those ceilings are kind of high, but maybe we could get away with it. And it is very dark. What does it look like when you actually fill in an area with stairs? Which way is the stairs facing? It is facing down. Okay, so we can't do this. So if we go up here, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm about to do here. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and there we go. We have an entire room completely lit up by the natural sunlight, and goodbye, mobs. I did not realize you could burn with even stairs being above you, but I guess even I learn a whole bunch of stuff inside building these worlds, and I actually do. I learn so much stuff that I just never realized about in Minecraft. Like, there's literally an infinite amount of stuff that comes out of this series that I learn and that hopefully a lot of you learn. Also, now that I'm inside this cube, it just reminds me of like a really old 70s movie. I can't remember the name of it. It's where like a whole bunch of people are stuck inside like cube rooms that are filled with traps and things like that. I'm sure someone must know what movie I'm talking about. I just can't remember what it's called, but something we do need to figure out is actually how much room we can work with inside of here. Because I think this is going to be where we start off, and then this is where we're going to be branching off to actually building up other rooms. But just to make sure, we need to see just how much room we could actually use when it comes to building up like the letters of the guide world, because I always like having like some form of sign. So if we take a step back and see, so we have ULTIMAT. We can't do ultimate, okay. What about variants? VARIANT, okay, and then GUIDE. Okay, we could do like variant guide. There we go. On both sides of these walls, we should be able to do that. Or maybe on one side. I don't know. Nice. Just, mildly ignore the V. I really didn't know what I was doing there. But to get an idea as to what I want to do, I should probably just, like, lay out, like, all the variant stuff I actually want to add inside this guide world. One, just to know what I'm actually working with. And two, just to know, like, which things could go like one after the other, because when Toycat actually makes guide worlds like these, I wanted to make it like feel as, I guess, seamless going from one area to another. Okay, I'm probably missing something. I'm almost definitely missing something I'm not thinking about, but I think generally these are the items with like huge quantities of variants, and we're gonna start with tropical fish. Why tropical fish? Well, why not tropical fish? Why would you not start with tropical fish? Y'all got something against tropical fish? I didn't think so. But alright, before anything else, how many tropical fish actually are there? So, this is kind of confusing. On Bedrock Edition, there's 2,700 tropical fish, but on Java, there's 3,072. Why does Java Edition have an extra 200-ish fish? I couldn't say. And why does Bedrock have 200 less? I don't know, but maybe to overcompensate the lack of fish, they added in big salmon. But even then, like, Java's getting big salmon, so I don't get the deal. But I probably will as I build up these areas. And what I'm thinking about doing is actually having like a whole bunch of tubes filled up with quite a number of tropical fish. Maybe not every single one, because like, again, like 2,700 or 3,000 would be a bit overkill. But having at least a few of like different variants of fish inside of here might just be enough to do to seal the deal for this first area. But then again, before I build up this entire thing, I should probably finish up my research real quick. Alright, just give me a minute. Okay, so the reason why Java has more fish than Bedrock is very simple. Every single tropical fish that actually spawns in has a default skin of black and white until it eventually gets its colored skin, and that black and white actual texture should never make it into the base game and should never actually naturally spawn. Apart from on Java Edition, for whatever reason. I know the reason, it's a bug. But yeah, Bedrock, we are not missing out on anything, but for some reason Java just has a few extra fish, which, you know, I wouldn't mind a few extra fish. I wouldn't be against it. But now that we do know that, we could actually properly get to work on actually building up this entire area. And the theme I was going for was kind of like a mixture of like an underwater area, but also like a laboratory, because we are viewing so many different types of fish in one area, or at least like discussing so many different types of fish in one area. So I wanted to try matching those two themes together as well as I could. And now I think I'm maybe 92% certain that the tropical fish area is completely finished up. I tried making it feel like as clear as possible as to where you have to go and what you have to do and what you have to look at, and I might have added too many tropical fish. I'm just saying, I might have added just a few too many, but I think we can live with that, and we can live with all these fun names. I didn't even know these were a thing. Like, I just saw them as purple, cyan, pink, and all that stuff, and something else I didn't even know. You can actually find actual real-life fish names inside of Minecraft, like Queen Angelfish. We got Tomato Clownfish. Like, what kind of fish names have society given to the fish in the real world? I don't really know, but something I do know is we could actually work on the next area, and before we actually work on the next area, we have to add one more little thing to our little to-do list inside of here, and that's actually tool enchantments, because there is probably an infinite amount you could actually have when it comes to like the amount of tools you can have if we determine like the enchantments on them. And with that, I'm gonna have to do so much math. So much I don't even want to think about, because at least as of right now, we're gonna worry about this next area. Yeah, that's probably enough to set the scene, but for this firework area, I kind of just want to make it more like a, I don't know, a firework factory, and I think, what this looks like might actually be what a firework factory actually looks like. I suppose maybe we could replace these walls and add another layer of like maybe concrete or something. Yeah, I could do that, maybe some hanging lights and then just other bits of decoration like that, which is exactly what I tried to do, because even though I had no idea what a firework factory really looked like, I tried making it feel like as much of a factory as I physically can, with like conveyor belts, with like hanging things, with like shelves all over the place, and with just everything that you might expect to see inside of a factory, inside this one section. But even with all that head scratching, we have ended up with our perfect firework factory. Maybe perfect. Potentially might need some tweaking here and there, but I still like it nonetheless. We have everything we need, all the info we need, all the ingredients for firework stars, all the ingredients for like other fireworks, and can you believe there's like over 29 quintillion firework stars? Like, I probably did the maths wrong somewhere, but if it's right, that is insane. That is insane, and that doesn't even take into account like the amount of fireworks themselves. But I think in general, I hope in general, this looks good enough. Maybe there could be some tweaking here and there, again, but I like it. I think we can move on to room number 3, which like only room number 3. Like, I've been working on this for a very long time. But what was the next one we were working on? Cauldron water. Okay, we can do that. That's pretty easy. All we gotta do is turn this place into a swamp, which honestly, with the setup like this, I really don't know how I'm gonna manage to do something like that. You know, actually, I just thought, instead of making like just a discount witch hut or a discount swamp or something like that, which, let's be honest, that's the obvious thing to do. Let's make a color factory. Let's keep the factory theme going and making like a color factory. And if we are doing this, we might as well get away with doing another wall of white concrete then. And okay, I am calling this place a factory, but I think it's gonna be far from that, because we're gonna have pipes of vats of color just spewing out from these things. Now, how am I going to make just a whole bunch of pink just look like it's naturally flowing out of this thing? Maybe not. But this probably needs to be just a little more, I guess, I don't know the words for this. Make it seem like it's not a broken pipe, first off, and then make it seem like it's flowing like as clearly and as smoothly as possible. Yeah, that is definitely a thing that we have made. A thing which I guess we can continue. maybe. Looks like whatever we're making here is way thicker than what I originally wanted it to be. But, you know, that's fine. We can make that work. And you know, all things considered, this actually doesn't look too bad. This actually doesn't look too bad. But now the matter of actually trying to do all the cauldron color things. And there's one little catch that I don't really think many people know. And that's the fact that even though, like, there's theoretically an infinite amount of colors in real life, there's actually a finite amount in Minecraft, mainly because of this baseline of colors we have. If we had more colors, or like an infinite amount of these colors, then we'd have an infinite amount of colors. But because we don't, we have a finite amount of colors. If that makes any sense whatsoever. I'm pretty sure it doesn't to some people, but in my head, it at least makes some form of sense. Alright, let's just show the baseline 16 colors that you could actually do without, like, mixing any colors or anything like that. But now the matter of trying to figure out how to show the... I didn't even know how many. Like, there's got to be at least 10 million different colors or something like that. I think with this, instead of like actually making the dyed color, I actually just like leave the dyes out so then Toycat can actually show what it actually looks like. Just so, you know, to give some people an idea as to what they can expect. And I just put a lot of that information around here, and the reason Minecraft has this limit is not only because of all the dyes, but also because of its RGB limit, which is red, green, and blue, if that makes any sense, because it can only value itself between 0 and 255, making 256 possibilities for red, green, and blue, meaning I believe you just multiply 256 3 separate times, which will get you the inevitable answer of over 16 million different possibilities, which is a lot less than infinite, but I still think is quite enough to satisfy your cauldron color needs. And it should satisfy me enough to actually move on to the next area. Now, with all the armor types, I'm considering having, like, big display case or something like that. Maybe some form of trophy room you might have seen back in the medieval days or something like that. I don't know. Alright, we got pretty much one of these walls done. What do we think about this? A little empty, I'll be honest. But maybe it'll look better when we actually fill up the rest of these walls and put the armor stands and stuff in there. And after doing that and placing down all the armor stands too, I think this actually looks pretty good. It's a bit empty in the middle, but we can work with this for now. Because now what we gotta do is actually fill up every single one of these armor stands with unique and different types of armor. That includes dyed armor, that includes a bunch of trimmed armor, and that includes like any other different type of armor we could think of. Which, I'll be honest, might take just a little bit of time. I'm just saying. And yeah, it did take quite a bit of time, but at least it wasn't too unreasonable to do it all. And hey, this actually does look pretty good. Still have no idea what to put in the center, but we'll probably figure it out as we build up this entire, like, showcase of how many actual possibilities there are. And I probably mentioned this already, but this calculation is so hard for me to do that I literally couldn't do it on my own. I literally had to ask an AI to help me out with it. Yeah, in Minecraft, these are the main, like, 7 pieces of customizable armor, which on their own is pretty cool, but considering the fact that we can also dye all these armors the exact same colors we could do with the cauldrons, that means we're already jumping our possibilities up to, like, the millions at the very least. And actually, before we move on, I think I have an idea as what we can put in the middle. A big plank of wood with a whole bunch of stone surrounding it, just like what we saw around the outside too. Could it look better with more armor stands? Maybe, but in case I need to use this wall for anything, I'm gonna leave it blank. Which, speaking of which, I'm gonna need to use this wall for something. Because I needed this wall for all the armor trims, all the ores you can use for the armor trims, and all the enchantments. Yes, I mean, even including all the enchantments you can actually put on the armor, and the total number, man, if you've not seen Toycat's guide video on this world, which if you're that person, then what are you doing? That man explains things like this way better than I ever could, but in the case you are that person, then spoilers ahead, because there is 10 to the power of 30 different armor combination possibilities. That might not seem too much, that might be a little confusing why I put that on the sign, and that's because the total number is so big that I can't fit all the zeros on one single sign. Yeah, 2 non-million 990 octillion combination possibilities. To put that into context, the universe began about 13.8 billion years ago, or around about 10 to the power of 17 seconds. That's how many seconds the universe has been around, meaning there are more armor combination possibilities than there are seconds that exist inside the universe. And I think before my head explodes by trying to comprehend how big that number is, I'm going to move on to the next area. And I guess to try and get maybe a smaller number, I might move on to the tools now. At least tools can't be trimmed or dyed or anything like that, so I'm at least guaranteed to have something a little bit smaller. And I think since there's just a lot of different tools and a lot of different weaponry and things like that, I might just split them up in like maybe market stands or something like that. Like maybe a good way in showing them off is by like, I don't know, showing them off as if I'm trying to sell them to someone. I don't know, it's moments like these where I really just don't know what to do for this section, but that's why we like playing around and seeing what we end up with. Kind of like this for the pickaxe, nothing too complicated, but straightforward and tells you exactly what you need to know. Unfortunately, we have a much smaller number. Well, when I say much smaller, it's still very hard to comprehend this many pickaxes, but it's at least more reasonable than the amount of armor pieces you can have. And all I gotta do is just repeat something like this another how many more times I have to do it. And I'll be honest, the further I get into building processes of these guide worlds, the more I just get invested into like how well I can actually do it. And this one is mildly weird. Not fully weird, just a little bit weird, because I tried making outside, but outside is very much so, I don't know, artificial, if you want to put it that way. But even with the artificial landscape and things, everything inside of here should be pretty much good to go. And surprisingly, I didn't see much more than like a few thousand, apart from one of them being, I believe, the axes, I think. Yeah, 184,000 different axes, and I'm pretty sure I got all the enchantments. I'm pretty sure I got everything for every single one of these, and maybe, again, there's something else I could add to each and every one of these stands, but for now, let's keep the train moving and build the next one now. And those of you with eagle eyes might have noticed I kind of maybe missed one specific type of weapon or tool or something like that, and that's because I'm grouping them together with the banners, because now we're doing banners and shields. And honestly, I kind of want to make it look like the inside of a museum, showing off like as many country flags as I physically can, because I do know Toycat is very much so into that whole geography thing, so I figured I might as well just lean into it in a way. Actually, before we make all the banners, I should probably build up the room a little bit. And when I say some things, what I really should have said was pretty much everything, minus like one or two little things inside this banner area. I didn't use the entire area because I didn't know what to put in some areas, but I think we managed to make the most out of the area we needed. The only thing we need to do now is have some fun and adding a whole bunch of country banners. Starting off with a good old US of A banner, and that's the only one I know how to make. Alright. But after some playing around and some general research, I think we have enough country flags around the place, and surprisingly, I completely forgot this. The Russian flag is just so easy to make. Like, honestly, it's like two different colors, a different type of color banner, and you're done. But yeah, I think Toycat will have some fun with this, but I think right now we have two more main areas I want to do. And they're just a little bit different to what we actually marked out at the start, and you know, that's how things usually go with these types of worlds. One of which is just going to cover like some general items and general mobs that have different variants. Some that might have like a good number of variants, but not really enough to make like a whole section on their own. Kind of makes it a bit difficult to know how to detail a room like this. I guess what I could do is, okay, every now and then I see like these purple and black blocks without any texture on them, and maybe we could get away with doing something like that, just like, you know, something that's pretty baseless without any textures. Maybe we could get away with that. Maybe. Oh yeah, so something like this will work. Now we should have the decorated pots, but then there's probably other things we could have inside of here. Only thing is I don't want to just add like mobs that have two different variants, like, I don't know, baby mobs and then adult mobs or something like that. I want to have like many different variants. Say like maybe all of these could do, maybe. I'll be honest, as of recording this, we don't have the new chickens, cows, or pigs or anything like that, so who knows? By the time you actually see this video, things would have completely changed, but hopefully not. And otherwise, I probably never would even like talk about those new types of mobs, because there's only like 3 of each. But since they are new, they do get a little pass. But obviously before that, we need to worry about the pots. A little messy, but still should work. I'm probably not going to add the sheeps or anything like that, considering like everyone already knows that there's already 16. But we could still probably get away with having the other mobs. Yeah, something like this will do. And then there's just a few other things, like maybe things people might not be aware of, say like the rabbit variant, say like maybe music disc variants. I guess most people know about that, but not the amount. And there's probably like a bunch of other things I'm not thinking about that I could add here, but I think in general this will be fine. This will be fine for now. But This last one is a biggie. Like, I literally mean a biggie. It's something I know Toycat covered before, but I think because it's been so long, we could probably get away with it and adding more information that we didn't have before. And that's actually the amount of worlds possible. Now you might be thinking, wait, isn't there like an infinite amount of worlds possible? And technically, yes. On Bedrock Edition. On Java Edition, it's a little bit different, but we'll get to it after we actually detail this entire room. And instead of doing like anything in particular, I'm just gonna throw a whole bunch of blocks all around the place. I feel like this is gonna take forever. And I also feel like people are gonna start noticing patterns, so we're gonna have to switch up blocks pretty constantly and switch out other things like that pretty consistently. But after consistently doing that for a while, this is both utterly beautiful and utterly disgusting at the same time. But I think this should be enough for what we need to do, and I think right at the very center, what I want to build is like just some main, standard, everyday seeds right in the center, like these. Okay, that's not quite in the center, and it is still kind of hard to see, but still, it gets the idea across. But now for all the information. In both versions of Minecraft, there is 2 to the power of 64 seeds, or about 18 quintillion seeds. Or if you want the exact number, is this. But then things get a little interesting when it comes to the amount of worlds possible if we consider all the blocks you can use, everything you can break and destroy and build and everything like that. So yeah, again, in Bedrock Edition, there's technically an infinite amount of possible worlds, considering there is no border or anything like that, if we don't consider the fact that going out, like, maybe past a couple million blocks, you can't literally interact with the world at all in some ways. Like, actually, let me just show you it. We are literally millions of blocks out, and we can't do anything with anything. Or, we actually can. But we can't stand on any blocks, we can't do anything like that. We will continuously and forever will fall into the void of the world. And there's not even a barrier for the void because Minecraft, this far out, literally completely breaks down, as we can see. So even though you fall through the world in Bedrock Edition, you can still technically interact with it, as we saw out there and things like that. So I guess, so long as you are in creative at the very least, there is technically an infinite amount of worlds, unless they do fix that at some point in the future. For Java Edition, on the other hand, while there is a hard limit as to how big the world is, with a 60 million by 60 million by 320 world, that does still mean there is an indescribable number of seeds or worlds possible. 10 to the power of 2.306 times 10 to the power of 24. That number is so undescribably big that, as far as I know, there is no exact number name that actually exists for that. All we do know is the exact number begins with 1 that follows by 2 sextillion 306 quintillion zeros. So, Java, don't feel like you're missing out on anything because you still have an undescribable amount of possible worlds, and pretty much for all things considered, an infinite amount if we think about it, really. And usually I do add like a sort of like final area that really does describe like the end of the entire guide world, but I think for a place like this might actually do it. This might actually be all we need for an ending like this. And yeah, this was a lot of fun actually showing my process. I might have to do this at some point again in the future. We'll have to see, but let me know what you think of this process down below. Let me know if you have any guide worlds you'd want me to work on with Toycat in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.